It's a common misperception that success equals happiness. I'm pretty sure you've seen all the research that shows that this isn't true. But it's still kind of hard to stop, right? It's hard to stop that drive towards achievement, almost as if you were programmed, right? And honestly, you probably were programmed fairly young by your family and maybe also by your society. So let's talk about why this happens and what you can do about it. If you're outwardly very successful, but inwardly still unhappy, my guess is that you grew up in a family where your worth was tied to your achievements. There's also a good chance you grew up parentified in an overly enmeshed home. You were probably the caretaker or the hero child in your family of origin. You were the responsible one, right? When we're programmed this young, it becomes our identity. It becomes our self-worth. It becomes how we see ourselves. Even more, we feel like we're worthless if we are not achieving something, if we're not helping somebody else, if we are not enacting this success role. We feel like we are not even worthy as a human being. You probably feel like you are just running on empty. It's likely that you sacrifice self-care, either to help others or in pursuit of your goal. If this is you, I want to help you overcome this. I want to provide some methods so you can move on and live a happier life. Hi, I'm Barbara, and I've been helping people overcome anxiety and negative self-talk for over 20 years. I've worked literally with hundreds of people, of overachievers, people pleasers, caretakers, and helped them overcome the deep-seated programming that is blocking them from joy. So there's tons of information out there about how success does not equal happiness. You've probably seen a lot of it. And the problem with almost all of it is it doesn't go deep enough. It might give you some suggestions: spend more time in meditation, or be mindful, or spend more time with your relationships. But none of this advice is helpful in any way if you don't go to the deep-seated programming that's driving you. I do agree with that advice, by the way. I do think that those are useful things to do. I just know that until you rewire that programming, you're not going to really be able to enact it in a consistent enough manner that it actually changes how much joy you feel. So what blocks most people is the negative core belief that developed very early in their lives. If on a deep level you feel that you're worthless if you're not achieving, why would you ever stop achieving? You won't be able to stop achieving if you think that that makes you a worthless human being. Or if on the same deep level you feel you can't trust other people, well, then you'll never trust other people. You'll feel like it's all on your shoulders. You have to do it all. It will be difficult to develop real intimate relationships because those require vulnerability and trust, right? And sometimes we grow up in a way where we really have a deep-seated belief that we can't rely on anyone else, and therefore we never find anybody to rely on. So if you have these beliefs, how do you kick back and relax? Right? So to move towards a life with more happiness, joy, connection, I think the number one thing you need to do is dig deep, uncover the negative core belief, and rewire it. Once you've uncovered that negative core belief, you can begin to substitute positive enough beliefs. We don't have to jump to affirmations, just positive enough beliefs, more adaptive beliefs, more reasonable beliefs. And then that leads you towards healing. And from the healing, you can implement change. So I think this will be a lot easier to understand if I give you an example. And my guess is you might relate to some of this. So Han is a first-generation American in his mid-40s. He's from a family and a background that prizes academic success, business success, and prizes these things really above all else. So Han was actually able to achieve a lot of academic success, and early in his career, he had a lot of business success. And he enjoyed his success, but overall, he never quite felt good enough. He never quite was happy enough. And then after a bit of early business success, he decided to start his own company, his own business. And like many, many other new businesses, the business failed. He learned a lot, and he was able to go right back into the corporate world with a very prestigious, high-paying job, but he kind of never got over that. He was so rattled by the failure of the business that he couldn't get over this feeling that he was basically at core a disappointment. He was a failure and really a disappointment for everybody. Through working this program, he was able to identify that this feeling of not being good enough came very, very early. He was the youngest of two brothers, so his older brother, I think about 2 years older than him, of course could do everything better than him, right? But he still was perfectly advanced for his age, successful, did all this good stuff. But he never quite felt like he was up to snuff because his brother, who had grown up in the same environment, right? The same environment of a lot of pressure to succeed, the brother would put him down to make himself feel better, right? So we can understand from the older brother's point of view, if he feels all this pressure to succeed, one way to make himself feel better is to compare himself to his younger brother and put the younger brother down. But from the younger brother's point of view, he's always feeling like he does not add up. And the parents were very well-meaning. They really were. But their focus was really on achievement and really came from a mindset that that was the most important thing in life. If he brought home an A, his parents would be like, okay, where's the plus sign? Where's the A plus? Why did you get a 94? You should get 100. It just was never quite good enough. Kids need a sense of unconditional love. Kids need a sense of I'm okay just for who I am. I'm okay just because I exist. I'm okay when I'm being silly or playful or joking around. I'm special without having to be compared to others and achieve a certain thing. And conditional love and conditional attention leave a child feeling that basically they're worthless. They are not worthwhile unless they're achieving. So uncovering this negative core belief and realizing how deeply embedded this was for him and where it arose, right? And realizing that this arose not because there was anything wrong with him. He was able to see why, and he was able to see the faulty premise underneath this belief, which is perfectly natural and normal for a child to develop. Really, that's how children will think. But once we're adults, we can begin to think differently, right? And we can see it with more perspective. So through this work, Han began to purposefully spend more time doing things that he simply enjoyed that had no real goal in mind. He learned mindfulness. He did begin to focus internally on what was important for him, began to focus on his own values. He was able to gradually, so this takes time, but he was able to gradually stop comparing himself to others. He also was able to work on shifting his focus away from what do they think about me to do I enjoy them? Am I enjoying their company? Am I enjoying myself? Am I enjoying my own company? So he was able to totally shift what he focused on. And he's told me that this program and this kind of work completely changed his life. Now, there's other ways to do this work, right? Therapy, coaching, sometimes self-help, identifying your negative core belief, going deep, beginning to rewire it. That's what's really going to help you move towards a happier life where you can also be successful. You can be successful and happy, but success can't be the only goal. An easy way to start with this, I have a free PDF. It's called Transform Your Negative Core Belief. You can download it. The link is in the description to the video. I've heard from many people that it's super helpful, and I really encourage you to take this journey. You have the skills and the knowledge and the ability to concentrate, I know, because you're successful, and you can apply it to bringing more joy into your life. I hope you found this helpful. If you're looking for more tips on living a happier life, lowering your anxiety, rewiring some of that negative core belief, subscribe to my channel. And if you liked this video, please do hit that like button. It is a big help. All right. I'll see you guys next week.